If you guys would like any food or drink, Miss Sierra is right here to help us. I'm probably gonna order some things. No, so our sponsors, we have Creative Realty, who has been with us, of course, only is the brokerage, but he has not given up. The agents have not given up on Chesterfield Real, so we want to thank you guys so much. We have Richmond Mortgage, Mr. Mike Combine, and I do not have any more of his flyers for whatever reason. We usually try and keep them, but Mike is a hard money lender, and he works with any central situation. I don't know, Medora, if you've ever heard of him, it's kind of stuff. But Mike works with all sorts of situations. We have Victory Theater, which we will not be attending their event space, or we will not have any of our meetings at their event space for some time. I really don't know when we're going to start those meetings again. I don't know if you have any idea, but Victory Theater, if you guys have never been, it's huge, very accommodating, and I hope they love us there. We love them though. We have cards for them. You actually get 20% off of the movie, any movie that you would want to see as a member. So you guys get those benefits. You don't get 20% off the event space, but the movies you will get that. Am I missing anyone? And of course, as a member, you get benefits like Home Depot discounts. You get free websites, and we're going to get to that a little later. You just reach out to Uli for that. We have Office Max discounts. We have all sorts of discounts that, you know, any benefits that you can think of really just to become a member. So you guys, we thank you so much for coming out tonight. So we're going to go ahead and have Emmanuel turn his screen on for us.
All right, how we doing?
All right, and Emmanuel is going to give us some information about residential assisted living. So as you can see, he does have his academy information. And if you guys missed the flyer, we gave a little background about his academy information, and I'm pretty sure he's going to give more information tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you now.
Awesome. And Kiosha, thank you for that. Is there any way you can allow for me to share my screen? That way I can show my presentation.
All right, you should. In a second.
Oh, all good.
You should be good to share.
Let's see. All right. Perfect. Can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's have some fun then. Well, my name is Emmanuel Guarino, and I'm very excited to be with you here. And what I'm going to be talking about for about the next hour is residential assisted living. And so we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump right into things, but a little bit about our academy. We are the #1 premier educators on residential assisted living, but we also do a lot of different things in this space. I actually sell these homes. We've started the national convention, the National Association for Residential Assisted Living. And so those are all under the assisted living family. So if there's something in the assisted living space, we're either in it or we're starting to do it right now. But tonight we're going to be speaking about the Residential Assisted Living Academy and what we do there. And tonight, more specifically, we're going to be going over the one and done formula, showing you how to get to financial freedom in 6 months or less. Now, there's lots of opportunities out there. And some of the things that we're going to go over tonight is where are we at in the cycle? You know, right now we're obviously in flux. It's, you know, a very weird time and there's a lot of different things going on. Where are we at? We're going to go over the best opportunities right now, and we're going to go over the outlook for the future tonight. But I'm going to make this statement. You're working too hard. You know, what is everybody else doing? You know, you got school teachers, mechanics, nurses, accountants, police officers, engineers, firefighters, doctors. All of these professions work very, very hard. But as you can see, these are averages of what these professions make. They're all over the board. The question is not working harder, it's working smarter. We all have heard that before, but now it's time to put that into practice. For me, I was a waiter, and I didn't look like this guy. This isn't a photo of me back in the day in college, but I was a waiter, and I was working extremely hard. And I remember one year as a waiter, I worked every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And I was dealing with people like this. I'd like a cheeseburger without cheese. So a hamburger, sir? No, a cheeseburger without cheese. Right away, I'll get on that. But I made a switch. As I told you, I was making $15,000 over the entire course of the year, working Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. And when I finally made that switch of getting into real estate, I actually made $15,000 in the very first commission check that I ever made. And that's a very proud photo of me right there a number of years ago. So it's about working smarter. So where it all started for us, we often get asked this question, and my grandmother, she lived in upstate New York, and we would go to visit her about every summer. And I remember one summer we went up to go visit her, and it wasn't quite the same. We noticed the garage door was open and the stove was on. And, when we came in to greet grandma, we said, have you taken your medications? She goes, well, I don't remember. I said, this isn't good. So we said, we got to look for an option for somewhere for her to be. But, before all of that, our world had turned upside down. My father, he was a high-paid executive. He was traveling around the country. And during the Great Recession, he actually lost his job. And things were very, very tough for us. And, we hit bottom when we were grinding. And things went from, bad to worse when not only did my father lose his job, but he lost the house, and, the cars turned from beautiful Lexuses to, beat up, crappy old cars. And we were really scared. It was a very, very tough time. And on top of that, that was when we went out to go visit my grandmother, and we saw what type of need she needed. And so in that moment, that crisis became an opportunity. We said, you know what? There's a lot of people who are in need, who need a great, safe place for their mom, their dad, their grandma, their grandpa. And when we went out and we looked in upstate New York for options for her, we really couldn't find anything that we wanted. The options were, we can have someone come into the home and stay with her. That's about $22 to $25 an hour, which if you do the math on that, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's extremely expensive. Then the other option was move her into a giant facility. I don't want to live in a facility. I want to live in a home, first off, but with 300, 400 strangers who she doesn't even know. We said, that's not the option. So we looked for residential assisted living homes. And in that area, there were a couple of them, but they were full and they were just kind of not really the quality that we were looking for. But they were about $5,000 a month to live in those facilities. And we said, wow, there's a big opportunity out here. And so we decided to start our first residential assisted living home. And so before we move forward, I want to make a statement. If you're committed, you can do whatever you want. If you're not committed, you can find a reason to not do whatever you're doing. So the first thing is you got to get committed. You got to be clear on your why. Or if you're there live, write that down. And if you're not even willing to write it down, why you're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that next level of your life, then it ain't going to happen. Here's the spoiler. It ain't going to happen. Even for me the other day, I said, you know what? I need to lose 20 pounds. And so right on the other side of this wall, I got my goals, my fitness goals. I have written them down. And what do you know? They're coming to fruition. So we got to write things down. Your commitment is critical to your success. Now, when we committed to success and we said, we're going to do whatever it takes. We started that first home, that second home, that third home. And, unfortunately, my grandmother, she passed away before she was able to move into our homes, but her legacy lives on in what we do. And what's really cool about this is that ripple effect. We started that home for our grandmother, but now hundreds of other people around the country have started homes and are helping hundreds of other families. And it's really cool what you can do when you commit yourself to a goal. So if you're committed, we can help you, but you got to get clear on your why. And, a lot of people, they always say, well, it's about the money. I just need to make the money and this and that. I want to make a bunch of money. It's kind of like Bruno Mars. I want to be a billionaire so bad. Well, why? Why do you want to be a millionaire? Money is important, but what's the purpose of that money? One of the questions I like asking people is I say, if I could give you $1 billion and you couldn't spend it or give it to anybody, Would you even want $1 billion? Well, of course you wouldn't. You'd be in danger if you had $1 billion at that point. It'd actually be a negative thing. So what is the money for? You got to know what the purpose is for it. You got to get clear on it. And if you're not understanding what I'm saying, you got to wake up. Wake up. You got to get clear on your purpose. And if you are, you can do anything you want in your life. So we're going to show you how to do this step by step, one step at a time with the one and done formula. Let me ask you this. Is your plan simple? You know, there's the saying that 90% of the world's millionaires are millionaires through real estate. So if that's the case, why is everyone who's investing in real estate or thinking about getting into it not millionaires already? Well, when we talk about it, is your plan simple? What we're talking about is doing one residential assisted living home. But a lot of people, their strategy is, I just need to do, a couple little houses. And then they find out, well, they're not quite making me as much money as I thought. So I need a couple more. And one of the tenants didn't pay. So I needed more to cover that tenant. And then, something broke and somebody had a party and someone this and that. And by the way, I'm putting up 50 homes right here. If the goal is $10,000 a month and you're making $100 per rental property, well, it's going to take a lot of those houses. Why do all those when you could just do one residential assisted living? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, the one and done formula. So, disclaimer before we get started, trigger warning right now. First time I ever said this, I had the whole room gasping. We only work with rich people. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean this, all right? Don't get offended. I don't mean this. I mean this. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, talks about the difference between the rich and the poor. The difference between the rich and the poor has nothing to do with how much money you have in your pocket. A rich person can be broke, all right? Now, it's not about money, it's about a mindset. See, when a rich person is confronted with an issue, they say, well, how can I get through this? How can I make this work? When a poor person is confronted with an issue, they say, well, this is why I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't do that. Again, a rich person can be broke. That doesn't mean they're poor. Poor and rich is a mindset. So let me ask you a question. If this guy right here, Robert Kiyosaki, the author Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if he lost all of his money, do we think that he would get it back? Yeah, I think he would. But what about like that guy, Elon Musk? Elon Musk, the CEO and owner of Tesla. What if he lost all of his money? Do we think that he would get it back? I mean, what if he went on, let's say he did something crazy. Let's say he went on the Joe Rogan show and he was smoking a doobie and, he did that. That'd be crazy. The stock plummets. Do we think he'd make all of his money back? You bet he would. But what about people like this? People who win the lottery. Do they ever get to keep that money? Does that ever stay with them? No. What happens? They spend it all, they lose it all, and then do they ever get it back? No, they don't. The difference is one is a rich person, one is a poor person. Rich person says, how can I make this work? Now, with assisted living, there's challenges, just like everything in life. And you got to be willing to go through those if you're going to be successful. If you're willing to do that, you can do whatever you put your mind to. But if you're not, it doesn't matter what obstacles in front of you, it will stop you. We only work with rich people. So for an example, well, I might have to do some extra work to that house. Well, you're thinking about why can't you do this? Why can't you be successful? Why not think about it from a different point of view? Here's an example. I was in Connecticut a number of months ago, and I was sharing on assisted living, and one of the participants came up after I was done speaking, and they said, I really wanted to do this, but I found out I can't do this. I said, well, why not? They said, well, it was going to be more work than I wanted to do to initially get it up and running. So I can't do it. Poor person. Then he asked me to vote for him. He said he was running for local office. And I said, great. Threw that card in the trash and flew on home to Arizona. You can do whatever you set your mind to, but you got to be on your why. So the one and done formula. We're going to show you how to make more money from one single family home than an 80-unit apartment complex. You don't need to work 40 hours plus per week, and you can do it in 6 months or less. Let's dive into things. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And I like to call it shiny pennies: real estate, oil and gas, stock market, precious metals, offshore investing, cryptocurrency, cannabis, and senior housing. There's a lot of different things that you can invest in, but there's a reason why we love investing in senior housing. So let's jump into the real estate side of things and some options for a single family home. Fixing and flipping, I love it. You can make some money, but the problem is once you fix it and you flip it, now you're looking for your next job. And by the way, every time once you fix it and flip it, there's more competition in the market looking for those same exact deals. So there's a lot of competition, but you're continually